The Last Stand is an exciting, albeit very old, series of games that are all centered around you, the player, who's trying to fend off hordes of zombies from your base camp. With the regular release of new, boring, and uninspired zombie shooters that suspiciously contain elements really similar to a little game called Left 4 Dead, it's become increasingly difficult for me to enjoy media about zombies. I personally am not a big fan of this genre, but I do love to dabble in it, having played through multiple zombie games and watched a few zombie movies as well. And hey, I've also written a little book about surviving a zombie apocalypse when I was, like 6? So you can certainly trust my opinion on this topic. It really hurts me to see this industry declining in quality and instead pushing for a more monetizable, quantity over quality approach. Recently, I stumbled upon a video made by the lovely Scrub that talked about The Last Stand, and it looked like a really fun game and a break from all the new garbage that's being released. So, about 2 months ago, I balled out $3 whole to buy this game while it was on sale. I'd like to say that I started playing immediately after buying it, but it's been sitting in my library for over a month. So I came up with this super brilliant idea. What if I play it and make a video on it? The Last Stand is an Adobe Flash game that was released on April 26, 2007 to a website called Newgrounds, which is an American entertainment company and website that hosts user-generated content. The game was developed by Chris Condon, who eventually created the development studio Con Artist Games, somewhere around 2008. Jumping into the first game, we are greeted by an open field of nothingness and buttons to create a new game to continue from a previous save, instructions on how to play the game, and the credits. When you click to start a new game, there is a little notebook that pops out with handwriting about the controls on how to play the game, along with a little journal that reads, "I finished the wall today. It should hold them off for a while, I hope. Tomorrow I better look for survivors and something better to protect myself with. I have to get through the night first." Anyways, letting into the game, the premise is simple. You are the character who has found himself in the middle of the night with zombies approaching your makeshift fortification that you apparently built in the 2.4 seconds that it took for us to head from the main menu screen to the actual game. How convenient. We can see the night counter in the top right, a health and ammo meter, with the ammo being seemingly unlimited, the player on the right side, and zombies flooding in from the left side. We finish off the zombies for the first night with a pistol and move on to a new screen with a clipboard that lists out some things you can do. We are handed 12 hours of daylight to repair our barricade, to search for weapons, and look for survivors. What I really liked about the screen were the little sticky notes that were attached to the piece of paper on the clipboard. Every single hour can be dealt into each one of these categories in order to build up defenses and prepare for more difficult nights. After this screen, we go on to a summary sheet with the total barricade repairs done, the number of survivors found, the people lost from the search parties, and the number of weapons found. Moving on to a very nicely designed weapon pegboard kind of setup. After each searching period, there are going to be survivors placed along the barricade line with their own weapons that are just there to help you fend off the zombie crowd. As the game progresses, we are introduced to multiple zombies in the game, including the regular zombies that follow a slow walking pattern and, slowly make their way to the base, sprinter zombies that love to get up close to the barricade and attempt to devour it, dog zombies that are really similar to the sprinters but just with a smaller hitbox, faster attack speed, higher damage, and are just all around a major pain to deal with. There's the fat zombies that are just tanks and take a bunch of damage. And then I'm pretty sure the last type of zombie are these soldier ones that are fitted with helmets and vests and armor that'll make them hard to hit and take down. I'd like to go over the journal notes and everything that were jotted down by the character, but I've already done that with my postal video, and it's going to be a big pain to put something interesting for each one of the entries, as they're pretty small and are literally just a piece of paper with some writing on it. So to summarize what was written, the player keeps a daily log or journal which shares the things that occurred on the previous night, as well as a seemingly more desperate tone as the days of the apocalypse go on. By the end of the 20 days, you have contemplated going somewhere else with the people that you've found during this time, but eventually you decide to delay this event, and after holding out for these 20 days, a military helicopter lands on the field and rescues you and the other survivors that were there with you. After the major success of the first Last Stand game, Chris Condon decided to release the next game in the series, The Last Stand 2, which was also released on Newgrounds, but on May 12th, 2008. The game follows the events of the last game, but just with more features, replay value, controls, and overall more quality of life experience. In this game, the background is a crashed helicopter instead of an open field, hinting towards the ending of the previous game. The game instantly hops into the next part of the character's story on the helicopter, where apparently one of the group members turned out to be infected, turning themselves into a zombie, causing the helicopter to crash, and once again the character is the only one left to survive. We start the game again with the same style notebook as in the first game, with the controls on the left side and a journal on the right side. This time, the journals actually mean something important because each one of them is tied to the location that you are in. It's been a month. Back at square one. The crash still haunts me. They're still everywhere. Radio broadcast said today that they're sealing off the mainland. 40 days until the last boats and aircraft leave. Got to make it to Union City. When we are placed in the level, we are greeted with the same little UI that was in the previous game. There's the night counter in the top right, and the health and ammo bars in the bottom right. Once again, we are given 12 hours to search for supplies, but this time, each of the buildings on the map take a certain amount of hours. I personally think this makes the game more fun because you're not just allocating things to search for weapons, you're allocating time to search inside of a house, like an actual survivor would. After clicking the accept button, the things that you could potentially collect after each time are supplies for traveling, weapons or traps, other survivors, and you can also spend time repairing the barricade like in the last game. Another really cool thing that I noticed was the fact that you could hand your survivor buddies higher quality guns, because I'm pretty sure all of them have like a gray pistol thingy if you don't insert something in the slot, and that just makes things very inefficient and also lowers your chances of surviving. This cycle continues until you have enough time to travel to the next location, and this is basically just what happens until the end of the game. After we had enough supplies for 4 days of travel, I decided to move to Whistler's Grove, which had a population of 10,913. The journal for this location reads, "Basements. Not a fan, but it's a necessity at the moment. Built a crude barricade upstairs to hold them off tonight. Should do the trick. Don't have much time or energy to build anything substantial. Best bet is to find what I can and keep moving towards Union City." That's nice, I guess. Still, living in your mom's basement though, huh? That's okay, I don't judge, but I did notice that the map got a lot smaller compared to the other map. This is more of a neighborhood, so there weren't any sheriff houses or markers or anything. So anyways, I made my way through the houses one by one until I eventually reached enough supplies for 5 days of travel. I made my way to Claysburg with my other 2 survivor friends to a population of around 60,000 people. A little note made by the map: more population equals more of everything. So, the more population the city or location has, the more supplies and weapons you will have, but also the more zombies there will be. So it's a little bit of a risk-reward kind of thing. The journal for Claysburg, titled Holy Ground, reads, "Ha! Don't think it'll make a difference to them, the bastards. The pews make a fairly decent barricade, though. A lot of stores around here. Hopefully I can dig up some supplies. Note, I've seen a number of them carrying weapons. Could get nasty." It was definitely bigger than the last, and I think the population really does matter, because I noticed a lot more labels on the building, like a petrol logo, a gun store and police department marked with a gun, and some retail stores with dollar signs on them. Well, yeah, the game literally wrote it out for you, dumbass. With 20 days remaining to get to Union City, I gather enough supplies to make my way to Aspenwood, which has a population of around 1,040 people. The journal entry for this level is titled Middle of Nowhere and read, "Haven't heard anything more on the radio about the evacuation. Can only hope they stick to their time frame. Don't like my chances of finding much here. Best to get what I can and keep moving. Union City or bust." Yeah, this map is exactly what the journal described. Empty and dry with less than 10 buildings that you can search for. With less than 10 buildings that you can search in. After a very short amount of time, I gathered enough supplies to head to Jonestown, which has a population of 100,027 people. By this time, it's day 29, and the journal titled Last Stop reads, "Union City is only a few days from here. Better hurry. Miss that boat, and I get the feeling it's all over." This map was really a more developed city and had a bunch of little buildings and intricacies to explore as well. Didn't exactly spend much time here and skipped over the other optional location, Fort Tran, just to be done with the game. Upon making our way to Union City, the screen displays a background of a city in the distance with the sign Union City 11 on it. Judging by the title of the next game in the series, I'm sure you know what has happened. Union City is the third installment of the series and was released on July 20th, 2011 on Armor Games. Union City is a complete overhaul of the previous games and now doesn't rely on the tower defense scheme anymore. It's become a $100 open-world game built from the ground up. In all seriousness, the game introduced a bunch of new features like a map system where you can travel to different parts of the map, a good story, in my opinion, and achievements. What I really want to talk about is this new class or role system or whatever where you can choose an occupation with skills attached to them. Unfortunately, there was no chemistry teacher occupation or meth lord for that matter, so I decided to go for the next best thing and make my own custom character. Anyways, the game now begins with Walter White driving home to Union City from work, I suppose, until he crashes into a zombie because he was probably texting Jesse or whatever, like the idiot he is. We hop out of the car and do the basic survivor stuff of loading the inventory and getting the starter gear and whatever, and we make our way to a survivor where we learn that there is a quest system. So anyways, after doing some errands, we acquire a bolt cutter and make our way through this enclosed military fence or whatever. We make our way to Walter's apartment, to check if his wife is breathing or not. But anyways, Walter's wife is apparently not in the apartment, and there's a note from her on the wall that says she's in the hospital in Canal Park. Anyways, once Walter and whoever else was with him make their way to the hospital, they discover the place has been overrun, and oh, what a tragedy. Walter's wife was relocated to military roundup, safe, secure area thing located in the local stadium with a bunch of other survivors. So anyways, we make our way through, a few more locations and whatever until we see the stadium and we have to go through registration and whatever, and guess what? She's been relocated again. We move our way to the central stadium and it's revealed by some dude named Barry that Herc, like the virus-containing company thing, has taken Walter's wife for experimentation at one of their camps located in Uptown. We are forced to stay in the stadium, but with the help of Barry, we're able to escape through a sewer system located under the men's restroom. We make our way back to the outposts, and we have to kill all of the soldiers in there in order to get to Beth. We make our way over there and release her, but it's revealed that she has like a bite on her arm or something. So anyways, we make our way back, fending off like a bunch of zombies, and eventually we escape the stadium, looking to move to the docks to escape the city. On our way there, we meet up with the protagonist of the first two games, whose name is revealed to be Jack, and he informs us that in order to get through the barricades that the military has set up, we have to make explosives. We make our way to this base, mowing down everything we see, picking up materials for explosives, and getting absolutely decked out in military gear and weapons. We make our way back to the group and make the explosives, heading out to the barricade. We meet up with Jack and his crew, and the wall goes down. We sprint our way down the dock as a large, massive, horde of zombies follows us. I want to say the entire situation of this is really funny to me because Beth just kept getting behind and was among the crowd as she tried to escape. We make it to the actual dock and we are told by Jack that he will find another way to get off this island himself and that we should just book it on the boat. We exit to a cutscene where Walter and his wife escape with the boat until the boat stalls and a zombie noise is played. As usual, the credits play and the game ends. Hey there. I just want to say that this is my first video where I'm actually trying to explain the story of a game. I know it sucked and everything, but I'd really love to hear what you guys have to say about what I can improve on, if you'd like me to add more detail, take things slow, or really whatever. If you would like to check out this game, hop on Steam or Newgrounds and make sure to visit the Lovely Scrubs video. I personally really enjoyed playing these games, even if they were really short. It gave me a lot of insight on what could be done if everything is planned and made correctly within this industry. Again, thank you to Chris Condon and his game studio, ConArtist Games, for making this game. With this, I would like to say thank you for watching my video, and I will see you next time.
Welcome to San Andreas, I'm CJ from Grove Street. Land of the heinous, gangbangers in cold heat. In Los Santos, neighbors get no sleep. Beefing with anybody, competing, even police. 4 deep in the green rag with gold feet. Blast with the flag on the strap, that's OG. Stay in shape, hit the gym, lift the weights. Get super cut, a big and buff, nice and straight.